Okay, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the November 10th, 2025 City Council meeting. I will now call the meeting to order. Councilwoman Senecal, will you lead us in the pledge, please?
Hand over your heart, please begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
City Clerk, will you please take roll?
Councilmember Wong.
Here.
Councilmember Kalmick.
Here.
Councilmember Senecal.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Steele.
Here.
And Mayor Landau.
Here.
All present.
Thank you. Okay, we are now doing proclamations. There is a proclamation honoring Dr. Elmo Agatep. Dr. Elmo Agatep has faithfully served the residents of Seal Beach as a primary care physician for 21 years, dedicating his career to compassionate, community-centered care. He was exemplified the highest ideals of the medical profession, approaching his patients not merely as medical cases, but as neighbors, friends, and fellow community members. His philosophy of care reflects a deep understanding that true healing is holistic, encompassing mind, body, and spirit, and that humility, gratitude, and service are the foundations of effective medicine. As Dr. Agatep embarks on a new chapter with the Sports Medicine Department at Hoag, he continues his mission to help patients of all abilities flourish through movement, exercise, and holistic care, extending his healing philosophy beyond elite athletics to all who seek wellness. Though he is moving forward in his professional journey, Dr. Agatep remains deeply connected to Seal Beach, a town that shaped his career, values, and heart. And we will continue to be part of our community through friendships, service, and local ties. Now, therefore, I, Lisa Landau, do hereby recognize and thank Dr. Elmo Agatep for his many years of compassionate service to the city of Seal Beach, and I call this observance to the attention of our citizens. I would like to now call upon Dr. Agatep for remarks.
Well, thank you very much for those very kind words, Mayor Landau, and thank you, City Council, for having me here this evening. It's been a wonderful 21-year career here at Seal Beach, and I know my ties here doesn't end. The city's very dear to me, and I can't thank enough that how much I've grown because of the trust and the compassion and the friendships that I've made in here. As I move forward with my career, I know my ties to the city is still going to be very deep because I love the city very much. And I'll do everything that I can to keep fostering those relationships and also keep promoting Seal Beach and what the city stands for. So thank you again for the opportunity to have served your city. And I hope to maintain those relationships going forward. So thank you.
Thank you very much. Sorry, I don't have my running shoes on. Okay, now we'll move on to the Pink Patch Project. And I'd like to call upon Senior Community Services Officer Dominic Sarabia.
Good evening. In 2013, the Seal Beach Police Department created the nation's first pink patch. Initiative was part of a campaign to raise awareness for breast cancer awareness research, and officers wore the limited edition pink patches like this one and badges during the month of October on our uniforms. The pink patch was the brainchild of Sergeant Steve Bowles, and with the approval of the police chief at the time, the premise was if many professional sports teams wore pink during October, why not law enforcement? So thus that began in October because a lot of us wear the patch in support of those we've lost due to cancer, those who are survivors, and those who are still fighting. Over the years, the Seal Beach Police Department project has gained popularity, inspiring other law enforcement agencies across the country to participate as well. Since then, 970 law enforcement agencies have joined supporting this worthy cause by creating and wearing a pink patch of their own. The funds raised from the sale of pink patches typically go to local cancer support organizations or causes to cancer prevention and treatment. And each agency can choose who they want to donate to. That was the whole premise of Pink Patch. We chose to support the Law Enforcement Cancer Support Foundation, Long Beach-based organization that offers support to various people in law enforcement. And since then, we've raised about $10,000 for that. In 2014, an article in the California Police Chiefs Association magazine did an article on our pink patch. And because of that article, El Centro Police and Guadalupe Police designed a pink patch to wear on their uniforms during the month of October. That was the first. And then 2015, Irwindale Police Department took the idea a step further and created their pink patch. And they were selling theirs and raised over $20,000 for the City of Hope. They chose to do City of Hope. In 2016, then Irwindale Police Chief Anthony Miranda took the idea to the Los Angeles Police Chiefs Association, and 25 agencies signed up to support the pink patch, and they all designed pink patches of their own. I like to say that the Seal Beach Police Department planted the seed, and Chief Miranda grew the tree in this. In 2016, we had our first police chief's photo shoot where all the agencies at the time went to Dodger Stadium and took a group shot of all the chiefs. And since then, it's grown over years and years. We did it 1 year at Griffith Observatory. This year, we did it at the Intuit Dome. And you can just see the increase of command staff and police chiefs there supporting this. And these are just in LA County. Some have come from across the state as well for this event. Since then, the Pink Patch program has expanded to over 1,200 partner agencies throughout the nation and includes police, sheriff, fire, EMS, and federal agencies. Additionally, the Pink Patch has gone global with 7 agencies in Australia, Canada, France, Spain, Guam, and Mexico. And all this can be traced back to Seal Beach. In 2017, the Pink Patch Project has collectively raised a combined total of almost $500,000 nationwide, which went to breast cancer research and education to the various charities. In 2023, the Seal Beach Pink Patch celebrated a 10-year anniversary, and we created a special pink patch at that time to wear. The next page, different celebrities that I've met and that were posing with the pink patch. You have Brian Wilson of the Beach Boys. You have Michael Madsen, claimed to fame from Reservoir Dogs and many other movies. Gabriel Iglesias, Fluffy, Robert Downey Jr., Michael McDonald, Fred Schneider, the B-52s. If you're in the 80s, that's me. And in closing, thank you. Since 2015, with the support of the Seal Beach Command staff, I have represented the City of Seal Beach and the Seal Beach Police Department in Pink Patch Project events. My goal is to make sure that no one forgets that Seal Beach is where it all began. And my good friend, coworker Kevin Edwards coined the phrase, Seal Beach, we are the little city that does great things. And it's amazing that this little patch has gone across the country and into Europe and other countries and still continues to grow to this day. So thank you. Thank you very much.
Mayor, if I may. Mayor Landau, if I may take a moment. Senior Community Services Officer Sarabi has announced his retirement later this year. He's been a driving force behind this Pink Patch project, representing us, coming up with patch designs, selling them, using his own time. It's really been a passion project for him. So I just want to take a moment and recognize all of his great hard work and what he's done for this project in preparation for his retirement. So thank you, Don.
Thank you, Dominic. I wanted to thank you for your service, and Chief, correct me if I'm wrong. Dominic is responsible for putting Seal Beach on the map before Seal Beach PD social media. 2013, right?
Oh, yes, that's true. Yes.
Oh, Dominic got
now
us
I
out?
understand your question. Yes, correct.
So thank you, Dominic. Okay, now we are moving on to recognition of Veterans Day 2025. On November 11th, 1918, the United States and its allies signed an armistice with Germany to end hostilities in World War I. The Great War exacted a tremendous toll on our nation, over 53,000 killed in action and over 63,000 non-combat related deaths, and the lives of countless others who were forever altered. In 1919, to honor and memorialize these sacrifices, President Woodrow Wilson proclaimed November 11th as Armistice Day, the precursor to Veterans Day, expressing a solemn pride in the heroism of those who died in the country's service. The City of Seal Beach salutes the generations upon generations of American heroes who have sacrificed so much to secure the blessings of freedom for their fellow Americans. Congress has provided November 11th of each year be set aside as a legal public holiday to honor our nation's veterans. Now, therefore, I, Mayor Lisa Landau of the City of Seal Beach, do hereby proclaim November 11th, 2025 as Veterans Day. I encourage all staff and residents to recognize the valor, courage, and sacrifice of our veterans through appropriate ceremonies, thoughts, and prayers. This proclamation is being presented in recognition only. So there's no one here this evening to accept a proclamation, but I did want to point out that tomorrow at 11 o'clock, the Lions will be holding their Veterans Ceremony in Eisenhower Park. So please join them. And that is it for proclamations. Now we will move on to oral communications. At this time, members of the public may address the council regarding any items within the subject matter jurisdiction of the City Council. Pursuant to the Brown Act, the council cannot discuss or take action on any items not on the agenda unless authorized by law. Matters not on the agenda may, at the council's discretion, be referred to the city manager and placed on a future agenda. All speakers will be limited to a period of 5 minutes. Speakers must address their comments only to the mayor and the entire city council and not to any individual, member of staff, or audience. Any documents for review should be presented to the city clerk for distribution. Speaker cards are available at the city clerk's desk for those wishing to sign up to address the council, although the submission of a speaker card is not required in order to address the council. Do I have any speaker cards?
There are no speaker cards, Mayor.
Thank you. Is there anyone that would like to address the council? Chad?
Alan says I can go first, so. Good evening, Madam Mayor, Pro Tem Steele, City Council, Gloria, Chiefs, and of course, Yosa. She's taking a nap now. In honor of Veterans Day, Seal Beach City Rotary is also hosting an event. We will be attending the city's event 11-11-11, and then at 1 o'clock, we are hosting lunch at the Country Club, and our guest speaker is a retired Coast Guard commander. His name is Mark Hung Nguyen, and he is an escapee of the Vietnam conflict who was a refugee, came over on a boat, and then ended up becoming a commander of a cutter. So it's an amazing story of refugee to service. He has a new book out called From Sea to Service. He'll be doing a book signing after our event there, and we will be having roasted chicken with garlic, whipped potatoes, and roasted carrots. Thank you very much, City Clerk, for the certificate of service that we have received. Unfortunately, he's not available to be here tonight, so we will be presenting it to him tomorrow at the luncheon. If there are any council members, hint, hint, that are available to join us and present this proclamation to him, it would be an honor to have you as always. That's 1 o'clock, so you can go to the 11 o'clock on the pier and then come join us for lunch immediately following. Thank you so much, and happy Veterans Day. God bless.
Thank you, Chad.
Hi, good evening. Teresa Miller, Old Town. I had a comment for item E on the agenda. It is the site lease agreement for this building for Ericsson RFS antennas and 5G NR radios. What I didn't see in all of the information is any kind of backup documentation regarding exposure. There's no data included on the maximum permissible exposure calculations. There's no data on the transmit power tables. There's really nothing to show aggregate exposure or maps or rooftop contours. And this is important because there are standards that are required at every state that demonstrates the compliance with human exposure limits. This has been happening all over town on a business side, and this is, from the citywide. The exposure, if anybody hasn't read about it, is detrimental to kids. That's why in many places in Europe it's not allowed. It shouldn't be it should be, at least there should be some accompanying number so that the public and people who are being fried in the building know what they're doing. But this wasn't included. I don't know if it is something that you have in the backup, and if it does, if you could please make that public. Thank you.
Thank you, Teresa. Adam, welcome.
Good evening, Mayor Landau and City Council. My name is Adam Larson. I'm a Seal Beach Lion, part of the association. I live in College Park East. And it is my pleasure to present tonight the beach wheelchair that we have raised funds this year through the Rubber Duck Derby to the Seal Beach Marine Safety Department. We have been raising funds for the last 5 years through the Rubber Ducky Derby for various projects and things for the Seal Beach Safety, Marine Safety Department, and this happens to be the thing we're coming up with this year. Also, we did present them a check at our last meeting for $1,000 to the Seal Beach Lifeguard Association. So I just want to take a moment to say it is our pleasure to present this to them.
Excellent.
That's all. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Picture?
Can we do a real quick picture? Lions who are here, do you want to
Anybody
maybe
else?
get in front of the dais and
Put it up here.
Run on down there. You're a lion.
the other lions want to join in?
How many lions have we got in the room here? Come on up, get in the picture. I'm sure there's more than one.
Some of us have to take pictures.
Lisa's a lion. Patty's a lion.
I sold it too.
Patty, sit down in the chair there.
No, that's reserved for me.
Yeah. There you go.
All right. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to take a couple. Okay. Over here. Thank you.
Ta-da. Good job, guys. That's one of the best things about this city is our Lions Club right there, and our Chamber of Commerce, and our Rotary.
If I may, while the mayor's walking back to the dais, I just wanted to say from Marine Safety that we thank you very much. You know, over the years, this is, I think, the third beach wheelchair that the Lions Club has donated, and these chairs get used almost daily down at the beach. They're they're incredibly used. I was talking to the Lions people outside before the meeting, and you know, one of them we've welded together, and it's just done. And another one is pretty beat up, so we're really happy to have this new one in place. So thanks to the Seal Beach Lions, we appreciate it.
Madam Mayor and City Council, I'm Terry Young, and I'm with the Lions, and I am inviting you to our Veterans Day celebration tomorrow at 11 o'clock in Eisenhower Park. It's on the right-hand side. We'll have some very good speakers, wonderful songs, and we hope that you can come out and support our veterans. Thank you. I left some programs for you.
Thank you, Terry.
Bunch of us here. Scott Newton, Seal Beach Lions Club. And I'm very excited about the 47th annual Seal Beach Christmas Parade, which I think most of you, if not all of you, will be joining us. So it is on always on the first Friday in December, so it's December 5th, 7 p.m., and we are sharp at starting that thing at 7. It takes about 200 volunteers. There are Lions, there's Leos, there are people from SBTV, and lots of explorers and VIPs working that night. It is really a wonderful evening, as we all know. It really brings the lights and the magic of the hearts of Seal Beach all together. It's about 11,000 people on Main Street. It's the shortest Christmas parade in California, but probably the most energetic. We tell all the entries, you never stop entertaining. You know how bands, like they will play and then they'll march and they'll play and they'll march. You keep playing songs and you never stop because it's so short. And the other thing is there's judges all over the place, but we don't tell them where they are. Okay. So play to the right, play to the left, and we have 4 announcers. It'll be on SBTV. It's a great evening, and our theme this year is Christmas in Toyland. So all the kids in particular, the Girl Scout troops and everything, everyone dresses up, and of course Fresh Cut Creative, which is an amazing company here in Seal Beach. It's always fun to see what they do. Last thing I want to mention, we are pretty close to confirming that we're going to have a drone show prior to the parade. If you've seen it, it's like a fireworks show without fireworks. And the goal is 250 drones. Kind of all the plans have been in. The FAA has approved it. It's over the beach will be the right side of the pier, or the, I guess, west side of the pier. And it'll probably be at 6:15 for 15 minutes.
Nice.
So it'd be pretty exciting to see that. And we're about 95% there. We already got them on the flyer, so as far as I'm concerned, it's a go. We will see you on December 5th. Happy holidays.
Thank you, Scott. I just want to say something in case you guys leave before public comments. I always tell people I'm a Lion first, then I'm a mayor. So very proud to be part of the Lions Club. And I just want to give a shout out. I'll talk more about Isaiah, our Seal Beach lifeguard who was injured over the summer. I'll talk more about that during my public comment, but I just wanted to say thank you to the Lions and Leos for also donating and helping make Isaiah's fundraiser amazing. So thank you, Lions. Okay, is there anyone else that would like to speak? John?
I think it's great, the Lions Club, the Rotary, and the Chamber of Commerce with the Veterans Day celebrations. I wanted to specifically recognize veterans today that have impacted my life. And I want to first start with my grandpa, Yoshinobu, or Bill. And he was originally drafted into World War II. Then he was put in an internment or relocation camp. And then he came out of that, and he was a Japanese translator in World War II. They called them Nisei. And he actually had family in World War II that was in Japan that he fought against. So this is in honor of him. I eat the Son of Man. I am the Father's plan. I eat the atomic bomb. I am the mushroom song. Watashi wa hito no ko o hamu. Watashi wa onchichi no mikokoro ni ikiru. Watashi wa genshi bakudan o hamu. Watashi wa senaru kinoko no uta to naru. And then I'd want to recognize my other grandpa, who is on my dad's side and was of Yugoslavic origin, but he fought in the Korean War. And I didn't know him too well because he passed away, unfortunately, when I was about 5, but I just remember his funeral service, and the church just seemed so big to me at the time, and I just think back to that even today. It's just, in my memory, it's just him and his service, and just the church felt so big. And then my uncle, who is a Marine, he didn't actively get deployed, I don't think, but my favorite memory of him when I was about 6 or 7, I think, I was at my Granby's house, and he was sitting on her rocking chair, and he said, "Come here," and he picked me up, and he picked me up by the ribs, and it started to hurt, and he just held me there, and I just smacked him across the face. And he was just like, man, he's got an arm on him. And to me, that's like he was testing me or something. Like, see, this is why we need soldiers, like, because when people are hurting you, it's like, that's how a Marine teaches you, I feel like, or something. And then, unfortunately, when I was in high school, the same day of the Salon Meritage tragedy, I was with the family that I grew close to, and there was to keep their information private, there was a tragedy with a Marine in their family, and I went to his funeral, and I just remember they wanted everybody to go up with a flower and put it on his memorial, and I just sat there, and I just felt like, it was just like, what am I doing? Like, this is nothing, just putting a flower on somebody who experienced such...
You have 30 seconds to wrap up. Such
tragedy that they would take their own lives, and I just felt like it was nothing. And I guess to this day, I just have been thinking about what to give him, and to me, I think it would be the real flesh and blood of Jesus Christ. Thank you.
Thank you, John. Is there anyone else that wishes to address the council? Okay. Thank you for your comments. By motion of the City Council, this is the time to notify the public of any changes to the agenda and/or rearrange the order of the agenda. Does anyone want to pull a consent calendar item?
Mayor, I'd like to pull item E. No staff report, just questions.
Thank you. And,
then Mayor, I'd like to pull item F.
okay. I was going to pull item C, but I don't see my new Environmental Quality Control Board appointee here, so I will not pull that at this time. Hang on one second.
We're fine. Take your time.
Okay, sorry about that. I lost my place. Okay, City Clerk, do we have any supplemental communications?
Yes, Mayor, 3 supplemental communications were received. They've been distributed to council and made available to the public.
Thank you very much. I'd like to call for a motion and a second to approve tonight's agenda.
So moved. Second.
It has been moved in second. I'm going to take a roll call vote. I'm having issues with the system tonight.
Oh.
Mayor Pro Tem Steele, how do you vote?
Yes.
Councilmember Kalmick, how do you vote?
Yes.
Councilmember Sinical, how do you vote?
Yes.
Councilmember Wong, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mayor Landau, how do you vote?
Yes.
Motion carries 5 votes yes.
Thank you very much. Okay, now for our reports, City Attorney, Senior City Attorney Amy Grayson.
Good evening. I just have one item to report. The City Council held a closed session earlier at 5:30, conference with labor negotiator under Government Code Section 54957.6. Sorry, I can't read. No reportable action.
Thank you very much. City Manager Gallegos, do you have anything to report?
Thank you, Mayor. I have a few updates. As some of you know, I know Councilmember Senical was out there. We had a great time participating in the Chamber's annual Halloween trick. Well, it was a trick or treat, not a trunk or treat this time around. But we had our booth at the pier. We got to see a lot of great costumes, actually. The kids were really fantastic. All the outfits, the princesses and the firefighters and all of those things. But a big thank you to Evan Moore, who is from Supervisor Janet Wynn's office, for joining us and helping us pass out candy to all the kids that showed up. This past Saturday, we held our strategic planning session with council staff and members of the public who joined us. I thought it was a productive discussion focused on economic development and other key priorities. We came away with a great list of next steps and given council's I thought positive discussions. We'll have a list of goals and objectives that we'll report out. We're working on that report. And we'll have that in a few weeks. But in the meantime, for those of you who weren't able to attend, it was recorded and is on the city's website if you'd like to view it. Again, also just a reminder, City Hall will be closed tomorrow, Tuesday, November 11th, in observance of Veterans Day. Like was mentioned earlier, we're grateful to our veterans. I think all of us have some links to veterans, have family members and friends who are currently enlisted and formerly enlisted. So thank you for all that they do and for their service. Lastly, before I turn it over to Chief Bailey for an update, I just want to wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving, since we won't see you, I think, until December 8th. So be safe and have a happy Thanksgiving. Chief.
Thank you, City Manager Gallegos. Tonight, I just wanted to give a council a quick update. I know I've notified you that I applied for a grant from the Orange County Coastal Conservancy for a new access mat. And so we did receive that grant for $30,000 to put a new access mat by the First Street parking lot. So now we'll have an access mat on the 10th, 8th, and First Street parking lot. That won't go in until late winter, early spring due to the berm construction and the winter storm action. So we'll put that in, I don't know, I haven't talked to the Director of Public Works yet, but late winter, early spring. And also, I just found out this last week, on top of that grant from the Orange County Coastal Conservancy, we received another grant for $18,000 for a powered wheelchair. So I thought tonight would be a great night in conjunction with the Lions donating a new wheelchair. We'll also be getting a powered wheelchair. So it has tracks like a tank, and it's powered. And, you know, we're doing a lot of research on that right now. So once again, we'll probably have kind of a grand opening with the new access mat and the wheelchair come late winter, early spring. And but I'm just happy to let you guys know about that now. We're really excited for it.
Thank you, Chief. Councilman Kalmick, do you have any comments?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I want to thank the Marine Safety Department for hosting the CPR research class. I was able to get recertified, and they made the class interesting, and so I'm ready, at least until I forget if something happens. I had participated in a Zoom meeting with the Los Cerritos Wetlands Land Trust. They are interested in, concerned about the new project that the Hellman people are wanting to do in the north end of the wetlands area, a solar project. I was on a Zoom meeting with the California Coastal Commission involving sea level rise, which is very interesting because the sea is rising. And it doesn't take much is the problem. I mean, we're not looking at feet. We're looking at a matter of inches that can have an impact on our city specifically, as well as other low-lying areas. I attended our monthly Southern California Association of Governments, SCAG, meeting. Attended the Veterans Day flag ceremony at McGaw School, which is always so much fun because the kids get really into it, and it's a great time to honor their parents and folks in their family that are currently serving or have served. And of course, Saturday was our strategic planning meeting, which I thought was just the best one that we've had. I think that it was set up for deliverables. And I think it was set up so that we have incremental projects that we can wrap our heads around and our wallets around. So I was very much impressed by that and want to thank all of our staff that gave up their Saturday to come and participate, and our council people who also gave up their Saturdays to participate. And today I had was able to visit a new project from the Rivers and Mountains Conservancy that I sit on. This was in the city of Long Beach, and they've taken a derelict piece of land over on the near Del Amo Boulevard area, and RMC has put in about $2 million along with some other donations, and they're going to convert this just really a derelict piece of property into a lovely park with all kinds of amenities. And we'll just, if you just look at it in relationship to the neighborhood that's right across the street, I mean, it'll do wonders for that neighborhood, and it's wonderful to see those things happen. And that's all I have.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilwoman Sinickel.
Thank you. I also had an individual meeting with the Los Cerritos Wetlands Land Trust, and similar to what Councilman Kalmick had, and that is in terms of our negative declaration regarding the solar project. I wanted just to report out, it was with Elizabeth Lamb and Eric Zand, for the record. I've had many phone calls and conversations with residents in CPE, very concerned about stormwater, upcoming storms. Our Citizens Ad Hoc Stormwater Committee, I think I might have got that a little wrong, but anyway, that committee met and had a lot of discussion, and I want to thank staff for, and Dave left, but thank you for preparing for that meeting. At the end of that meeting, it was the consensus of the committee to go ahead and approve funds to have 2 of the lines cleaned out that have blockages in them. And so I've talked to Dave and Iris and staff, and we'll work on getting the cleaning going. But it was a good meeting, a lot of good conversation. I also wanted to report for the record, I have been nominated, and I will be the chair, excuse me, not yet. Sorry, Orange County League of Cities. I will be the representative for Orange County to the committee, the environmental committee for the League of Cities, and that'll start in January. And I was appointed by David Pannonzola to represent Orange County to that. So looking forward to that. I wanted to also echo comments. Saturday was a lot of work, a lot of meeting, a lot of energy. Very exciting. We now are going to stand up a committee on the on the Olympics and the opportunities for our city to be involved in some aspect of that. And shout out to Catherine. I wanted to just thank you for pushing us and being very vocal about that. And so as we move forward, we'll report out on that. And then I think it'll be a great committee for us and some opportunities to showcase our city and host some of, activities and so forth. We don't know what yet, but we're working on that. And then lastly, getting a lot of calls, complaints, et cetera, about the dump trucks on Lamson and road damage and so forth. And Chief, I know we didn't plan this, but can you just opine very briefly, that street is posted for 3-ton trucks, and we're getting a lot of questions on how come those big dump trucks are able to use Lamson, and just maybe if you could just give a short answer for that, and I'll put something in my newsletter that CPE can read, but put you on the spot.
Yeah, thank you, Councilmember Senecal. So we have a dedicated traffic enforcement officer, a traffic investigator. He's also a specialist in commercial traffic enforcement. He's been conducting active enforcement activities on Lamson since the project began. I know he has been stopping and issuing citations when appropriate. He's also reached out to the manager of the site and talk to them. There is special permitting for those types of trucks. There's a lot of restrictions on the loads, covering the loads, what they can carry and what they can't carry. To answer your question, the short answer is that as long as everything is properly permitted and there's no vehicle code violations, there's limitations. We have to be careful about restricting commerce and by unnecessarily restricting the ability of those trucks to work on that project. It could be construed as that could be potentially be restricting commerce, and we wouldn't want to be in that position. So we'll continue to conduct enforcement activities. We'll continue to communicate with that work site. That being said, I know that there's been some communication with the Public Works Director. I know that, and I don't want to speak for her, but I know that we're monitoring the condition of the roadway, and we'll have conversations about that. But the short answer is we are conducting enforcement activities regularly, but we also have to balance that with the ability of legitimate businesses to conduct commerce.
Okay, thank you.
Really quick, since we have you on the spot, let's talk about First Street and the cement trucks on First Street that come off PCH First Street to the Marina Bridge to the new construction at Congressional Place, which is the first of 3 6-7-story apartment buildings right there on the other side of the bridge. Can you talk about the complaints I'm getting on First Street?
Similar issues, similar complaints, similar response. Our commercial enforcement officer has been actively conducting enforcement at that location. There is a document that the city holds that talks about restrictions on where trucks can and cannot drive. In all candor, it's fairly limited. Again, for the most part, you've got Pacific Coast Highway, First Street, which are major thoroughfares, and those are not restricted as truck routes. But beyond that, we have to balance our enforcement efforts with whether or not we're negatively infecting commerce on the roadways. But if the Public Works Director, Lee, wants to further that, I'll be open to turn that over.
Thank you, Chief. Just to echo what Chief Henderson has to say. Based on the city's adopted circulation element, there are designated truck routes throughout the city. Also, as part of our municipal code, if there are certain restricted singular access points for construction-related traffic, for example, the development that Councilmember Zenical was talking about along Lamson, that is a single point of access, so we can't restrict construction traffic along those areas. Related to the development over in Long Beach, if there is indeed just a single point of access and one route to get in and out of that construction development, then we can't restrict that either. So while there are designated truck routes, just as the chief said, there is limitations on what we can do as long as they pull a transportation permit.
I guess if we monitor the condition of our roads, I think that's, at least something that we can monitor and hopefully have in our control. Thank you very much. Thank you, Chief. Councilman Wong?
Oh, thank you, Mayor. Since our last October 27th meeting, I will start that it's been a busy for all three areas of District 2, starting with College Park West on Saturday, November 1st. In the morning, I joined with the CPW Preserve Group, which is, if some of you might not already know, is something we call First Saturdays, where every first Saturday of the month, all volunteers from the neighborhood of CPW all gather to do some landscaping, to do cleanup, to do any type of beautification that maybe appeals to you. For me, my big thing has been graffiti cleanup. So if you might have caught me on Saturday hanging from the bridge, cleaning the electric poles, both of graffiti and tagging. Later that afternoon, then I did attend just as a resident, just to hear a public meeting in College Park West to discuss the Haynes Pipeline project. There was about close to 50 to 60 attendees from the neighborhood, and I think it was a very productive meeting. And to also piggyback, it's in preparation for our future Tuesday night at 7 p.m., November 18th, where we're going to have a public workshop discussion going to be held at the Tennis and Pickleball Center. Again, this is on Tuesday, November 18th at 7 p.m. at the Tennis and Pickleball Center, where there will be an open discussion regarding the Haynes Pipeline, which will also be attended by Long Beach Utilities and LADWP, as well as residents, so it's open for all. On Thursday, November 6th, I myself with Mayor Pro Tem Steele and Councilwoman Senecal, we attended the ribbon cutting at Farmers and Merchants Bank over at the Rossmore Shopping Center. And then we were there to commemorate the 40-year anniversary of F&M Bank at the Rossmore Shopping Center. So that was a great event. Also attended was the Chamber of Commerce from both Seal Beach and Los Alamitos. And we want to give a special shout out to the President Richie Barnes for organizing that event. On Saturday, November 8th, I, as well as my counterparts and city staff, we all attended the Smart Strategic Planning meeting on Saturday. And then there, with both setting our goals and initiatives and real deliverables by Q3 of 2026, I feel very encouraged. I also want to add, in addition to the Olympic Committee that was established, we also established a Business First initiative that both Councilman Kalmick and myself will be helping to head. And then actually today, earlier this afternoon on Monday, November 10th, I attended the Leisure World Cares Fund meeting where we had a guest speaker named Marcy Scheinwald from Laguna Woods Village Foundation. And then there she basically discussed how to run a charity within Leisure World and ways to benefit residents at Leisure World. And then also want to invite any open to the public if anybody's interested. The Sunshine Club over in Leisure World this coming Friday, the 14th. I will be there speaking at 5:30 at Clubhouse 3. Thank you.
5:30?
Thank you.
5:30. Wow.
Yeah.
On the evening. Okay.
Mayor Pro Tem Steele?
Thank you very much, Mayor. A lot of the same stuff, but some other new things too. The wetlands restoration people, I sat down with them and talked about the solar project in the back end of the property. I'm following up on that. I had a on-the-ground tour. What is Derek's last name?
Escobedo.
Sorry?
Escobedo.
That Derek is our chief water guy. He's the guy that runs all of our water plants, and he knows the water system inside out. And I had bugged city manager and Iris to give me a couple hours with them on the ground to look at these pump stations from the inside out, what's involved in those pump stations, and all the rest of that. And so it was a very insightful tour. Very good to see the inside of these things and in some detail with the guy guy who was actually running it, and his perspective on what we need there as we move forward into our project. So it was a good tour with him. I also got a ride from Joe Tallarico for a couple hours to look at the public works aspects of the city and see what his team does for this city. And they're like, they do a lot for the city all over the place. So anyway, those two things were highly informative for me. I was at the Farmers and Merchants ribbon cutting. I was at the McGaw School flag ceremony, which if you've never been around, first through sixth graders all reciting the Pledge of Allegiance all at the same time, well, kind of at the same time, those teeny little voices ringing out, I pledge allegiance. It was just absolutely delightful. I was standing next to the chief and I said, just listen. Just listen. It was delightful. So anyway, let's see, not quite done. That was cool. Planning session on Saturday. I've been involved in planning sessions for the last, it's been that long, since 1993. I've done a lot of these things. I know what goes on in these things. We had a great planning session on Saturday. The staff that was there, thank you all for being there and giving up your time. And City Council, your participation. It was very practical. It was very to the point. It was smart. Most of it was smart, I should say, but which is specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time-bound, and that's the way we put our agenda together going forward. So it's really compact, it's really portable, and when we pass out the reporting document, we'll put this out to the public as well, I'm sure, so that everybody can see what's on our list of to-dos to get done in our city over the next year or so, in addition to all the capital projects and everything else we have going on. But these are the directions where we want the city to go in. So it was a very good planning session. I also attended a luncheon that featured the city leadership from the city of Costa Mesa. I've learned over the last few years of being on council here and being on boards out there is that no two cities are alike. We are not anything like Westminster or any of the other cities. And this was Costa Mesa's mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, and one of their council members. And we got to fire questions at them. It was very fascinating. They are a wealthy town. They take in more money than they can spend. And so it's an interesting thing. I kept saying, down here and spread that our way. But they do something with drones as a first response. That is very effective in their town. I don't know how expensive it is, but they have 3 of these automated setups, GPS, the whole 9 yards. And so they've been utilizing that and they like it. They like it a lot. So hopefully we'll be able to get there at some point too, Chief, in our city as well. So I know you've got that in your view finder at this stage of the game. And that's about it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, I know you guys have heard about the strategic planning meeting that we all went to on Saturday. I think my colleagues did a great job describing it. I just want to say thank you, Chief Henderson, for a great job moderating, and city staff for working so hard putting together a great Saturday. It was very informative. So again, I'm also very encouraged where we're going. I also, since our last council meeting, I went to the Lions Mixer at the Beach House. And if you don't know the Lions, I think you guys are probably not surprised that I'm in favor of the Lions. They do graffiti, site clinics, the Christmas parade, fish fry. So if you're curious to know what the Lions do and get to meet them, going to one of their mixers is a great idea. And we actually have our Lions president here, Kevin Young. Thank you guys for all you do. We also have on November 13th, and I'm going to let you say this, City Manager, what's happening on November 13th.
Well, I don't want to steal all the thunder. I want to bring up Recreation Manager Tim Kelsey to talk about it.
Uh-oh. Come on.
Thank you for the opportunity to come up. On Thursday, November 13th, the City of Seal Beach will be saying thank you to our service organizations that provide so much service to the City of Seal Beach. We plan to do this at the Seal Beach Tennis and Pickleball Center at 4:30 to about 7:30. During the event, the city staff has volunteered to help, much like our Lions do for almost every event in the city. City staff will be actually barbecuing hot dogs for the public who come as a way for us to say thank you to them both symbolically and physically. We hope to see everyone out there and just a great opportunity for the staff to say thank you to the community.
Thank you, Tim. Thank you guys for putting that together. That was really special. Okay, I will, I'm also going to be on the LA 28 Olympic Committee with Councilwoman Senecal. So feel free to reach out to us if you guys have questions or ideas. And then finally, on November 1st, there was a fundraiser for our Seal Beach lifeguard and junior lifeguard instructor, Isaiah Osario, who most of you know was injured over the summer at the beach. And the fundraiser was amazing. We had a lot of great sponsors. I lost my list, so I'm trying to remember who was on this list. So if I forget you, I'm so sorry. First of all, the Lions Club and the Leos, Patty's Place, Harbor Surfboard, Susie Diamonds, Lucky Jack, the bands, they played for free. And I believe Seal Beach PD donated also. Would you like to share what they donated?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. We shared a ride in the Celine Mustang and a ride along at the police department.
Isn't that ride to school with donuts?
It is a ride to school with our community-oriented policing team. So if you bid on that, we come to your house in the Celine Mustang, pick them up, take them to a donut shop, get some breakfast, and then drop them off in front of school in a pretty cool race car.
Thank you very much, Sergeant Gray. You're a great driver. Also, I would just like to say that Isaiah's mom has got an Instagram page, which also has a GoFundMe link, and it is, thank you, Chief.
Strong.
Thank you.
With Isaiah.
And his mom posts videos and gives daily updates, so you guys can follow, see how Isaiah's doing. But I'm going to, also thank the Beach House. Rosie gave back 20% all day of the proceeds from that to help Isaiah and his family when he comes back home. And Chief, if there's anything else that you want to say about
Absolutely.
that.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Yeah, that fundraiser was great. I got an opportunity to go down there and have lunch and actually won a TV in the raffle. So I had a great time with it. But I just wanted to follow up, with Isaiah's mom has done a great job of updating her Instagram page almost daily. It's photos and videos and how Isaiah's doing. And he's progressing as well as he can. He's at one of the best hospitals for spinal injuries in the country. It's in Colorado. And so 2 weeks ago, he was moved from the hospital to the rehabilitation center. So he's still in Colorado. We're expecting to see him back here in around 8 weeks is the timeline that I heard. So we're all definitely looking forward to that. Lifeguards have been visiting him quite a bit in Denver, and friends and family going out to see him. And one of the most impressive things to me, I think, is his just his positive attitude. And to me, that would be, obviously an extremely difficult situation, but his positive attitude is really carrying him through. So we're looking forward to seeing him back here. And with that, I know we're going to be hosting a couple more fundraisers because they're going to need some construction on their home. So his wheelchair can fit in and around the home, and he can be mobile around there. So with that, I appreciate you bringing this up, and thank you.
Thank you, Chief. And I just want to say this is what I love about this community. Seal Beach is a very special town. When something happens, we all come together and are there for each other. And like I always say, it takes a village, and this is a very special village to me, so thank you. Okay, we're moving on to consent calendar. Items on the consent calendar are considered to be routine and are enacted by a single motion with the exception of items removed by council members. I'd like to call for a motion and a second to approve the consent calendar with the exception of the 2 items that were pulled.
It has been moved by Councilmember Senecal and second by Councilmember Wong. Go ahead and cast your votes, please, on your iPad. Mayor Pro Tem Steele?
Yes.
Motion carries 5 votes yes.
Thank you. Okay, now it's time for items removed from the consent calendar. Item E, Second Amendment to the Communication Site Lease. City Manager, is there a staff report?
Mayor, I believe Councilmember Senecal had a few questions on this one, so I'm going to turn it over to Interim Community Development Director Temple to respond to questions as they come up.
I'm available for any questions.
Yes, thank you. I wanted to, I also had some questions, and then I wanted to pick up on what Teresa made as a public comment as well. I was thinking along the same lines, and that is the maximum permissible exposure. And so, again, I didn't see any tables or any reports, and there's a lot of information now out about this EMF, and just didn't see anything in our report.
Well, a couple things. That this item is specifically for the lease agreement and not for the review of the wireless facility itself. But speaking to the city's responsibilities of the review of any sort of wireless infrastructure, I do need to point out that in 1996, U.S. Congress passed the Telecommunications Act. In the 90s, they recognized that wireless was becoming a new infrastructure that they needed to acknowledge. And so within the Telecommunications Act, they laid out the rules and responsibilities of different agencies. And within that act, that they stated that the responsibility for the review of any health impacts is that of the Federal Communications Commission, the FCC. And so the FCC does all those studies, and they have quite a lot of material available on their website, fcc.gov. But as it relates to the city itself, the Telecommunications Act actually says, because the FCC has already done all those health reviews, that local jurisdictions do not have the authority to do those reviews. And so that's not within our purview.
And so this act was 1996, and we've had multiple changes in generations, and now we're 4 moving into 5, and I hear 6G is off in the future. So is this health impact stuff current with where we're at with?
Yes, it's correct. So the FCC, if you go on there and on their site, and I will say I've previous to being with Seal Beach, I was with LA County, and for 15 years I dealt with wireless. I worked on hundreds and hundreds of towers. This is something I have quite a bit of information on. The FCC regularly publishes updated reports. They have a lot of material. They address all of the new generations. They do these studies, so it's not like this act was just passed 30 years ago and then it was let be. It's been some time since I've looked at the numbers, but I have done reviews of numbers myself, and the percentage of exposure from these facilities is somewhere about 1% of the safety standard of what they consider is safe exposure. And actually the example that's brought out a lot is that you actually have higher exposure from the phone on your body, or if you talk on it, than you do from any of the towers that you're nearby. You would actually have to literally stand next to these antennas to get.
And that's because of the distance?
Exactly.
Okay.
Right.
And then in the safety standards, do they look at cumulative? So this building has tower and this building, or are they just looking at a standalone? Is it a cumulative look at the radiation effect?
They have, my understanding is that they do. I have to be careful because I can't get too much opinionated on the health standards per the act, but the studies take into consideration what sort of output the antennas put. And usually, and they do, I will say what's taken into consideration as well is that there's a lot of these towers have co-locations. So they'll have 3-4 sets of different carriers on one tower. So there would be that sort of analysis done.
Okay. I would just suggest, if this is Second Amendment, but in the future, it'd be good even if you were just to put some resources where if people wanted to read more, we could have that, and then any current study references just as informational. Okay.
Yeah, and I can make that available.
Okay.
I could email that out to Teresa or anyone who's
Well, I
interested.
just think in general, because when we read the staff report, you're kind of looking for everything attached to your staff report. And so that's what, when I was reading it, I didn't see anything about the whole safety report on radiation and EMF and et cetera. So I'm just making a suggestion that in the future, we could attach, it doesn't have to be us opining, but it could say, these are the references you can go to read more, fcc.gov, et cetera.
We can definitely do that, Councilmember Senical.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Question? Okay, I'd like to make a motion to move and second this item.
It has been moved by Councilmember Senical and second by Councilmember Wong. Go ahead and place your votes. Councilmember Senical?
Oh, oops, sorry.
Motion carries 5 votes yes.
Thank you. Okay, item F, Amendment 1 to the Professional Services Agreement with MRS Environmental. City Manager, is there a staff report?
Oh, if I may interject, can I forego the presentation as well and just jump to a couple quick questions? Would that be okay?
Of course, Councilmember Wong.
Okay, great. For the PSA agreement with MRS, this is the $2,500 increase is due to the appeal to what was moved at the Planning Commission meeting. Is that correct?
Correct. So the mitigated negative declaration's already been completed, and these are all for services for public hearing appearances. The account was at near zero, so we needed additional funding to make it through the appeal.
So that they could respond to the appeal?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. And so this would be funded through the applicant, Hellman, get provided to the city because the city has a contract with the environmental consultant. And so we pay the services through what Hellman provides to the city.
And just for clarification, I don't know if you could respond to this or not, but will this be coming before council as far as the Hellman's solar project?
Correct. Yeah, we're looking at December 8th meeting for the appeal hearing.
And just a broad, I don't know if you could respond to this as well. What is the cost and time involved in an EIR instead of the NEGD?
EIRs are typically hundreds of thousands of dollars. It could be $500,000. And as David Spitz mentioned during the study session, it can make a project last a couple more years at least. For example, at our last hearing, we'd had our housing element, and it was originally heard by City Council in 2022.
400,000.
Yeah, and the cost was within the hundreds of thousands, but it took us to 2025, from 2022 to 2025 to complete, if that gives any sort of comparison.
Okay, thank you. I just wanted for my own understanding.
Any more questions? No? Okay, I'd like to call for a motion and a second to approve this item.
It's been moved by Councilmember Wong, second by Mayor Landau. Go ahead and cast your votes, please. Motion carries 5 votes yes.
Thank you. Okay, now is the public hearing adopting the Parks and Recs facility impact fee. I'd like to call upon Interim Director of Community Development, Temple.
Thank you. Tonight's public hearing is to set new impact fees as related to residential development and parks. Right now, the city has the Quimby Act, which is fees that are done for residential subdivisions. However, there's been state legislation for how park fees are supposed to be analyzed, and within that process, we wanted to update the fees. Actually for all residential redevelopment. So if you're building a new house or a new apartment building, right now the fees are, there's no impact fees for parks on those redevelopment projects. And so this would actually include all redevelopment. So as this process, we needed to develop a nexus study. So we contracted the services of the economic planning system, our system company, and I would like to invite them up to give a presentation on the project.
Thank you. My name is Jason Moody. I'm a principal at Economic and Planning Systems. I'm here with my colleague Andrew, who helped me with this study, and I also want to thank Mr. Temple and Megan Coates, who helped us with this, and we did work with the city staff a fair amount on this study. As described, let's see if this works here. We prepared the Nexus study, which was, I think, part of your packet, which is the justification for the fee program. I think so. I haven't tried it yet, but yes, it works. So we prepared this Nexus study that would justify, it's a legal document that is required to charge in development impact fees. So quickly just going to go over the methodology if you have any questions about it, and then show you what the resulting fees are. Just quickly about EPS, we've been around for 40 years. We're a California-based firm. We are real estate economics. We have an office in Oakland and Los Angeles and Sacramento. These are examples of impact fee studies we've done. I won't bore you with the details there, but we've been doing this for a very long time. So just quickly, what is a development impact fee? It's a one-time fee that's charged on new development, and it's designed to pay its fair share of the cost and demand for public facilities, public infrastructure that they impose on the city. It can fund public infrastructure and as well as the remodel or the upgrade of existing infrastructure. It can't fund any existing deficiency in the system, or can't fund services or operation and maintenance or personnel costs. And just to clarify, it is different than user fees, which are fees like plan check fees and whatnot, which are not the same as impact fees. Those are under a separate ordinance. So as was mentioned by Sean, the existing fee that you have a park fee. It's a Quimby fee, which is different ordinances, different process for being approved. It has some limitations to it, and it's also relatively dated. So the idea was to update it to make it up to date. And one of the problems with the Quimby Act is it can't be. It's generally for land and not for facilities, and oftentimes can't be used. It's under the Subdivision Act, so it can't often be used for apartments. So the new one will be the Mitigation Fee Act, and it is consistent with state legislation. It's going to be based on a per square footage rather than on a unit. So your previous fee is on a per unit basis. This one will be per square foot of new residential. It does not apply to non-residential development. Just quickly how they are calculated, and I'll show this fee again with the actual numbers, but we look at the cost of all the new facilities that would be attributable to growth, and we looked at how much growth you're going to have, and you divide one by the other, and you get the cost per housing unit. So total cost attributable to growth, number of housing units that are going to grow is the cost per unit. Then there's some stuff behind the scenes there that shows the average people per household and whatnot to get to the fee per square foot, and for a single family and for a multifamily respectively. So we have a different fee for whether you're single family or multifamily. Our study process was we collected a bunch of data working with your staff. We established what the growth projections are for the city. Then we calculated the fee, and we developed a report and got feedback from staff, and then we presenting our fee options to you tonight. So we identified $7.1 million of new facilities that could be attributable to growth, and 1,243 projected housing units that could grow during the time frame of this program, which gives us a fee per housing unit of $5,863. And then it's slightly more for a single family unit than it is for a multifamily unit. But then we looked at the average size of those units to get the fee per square foot. So the fee for a single family per square foot that we've calculated is $3.83, and for a multifamily is $5.40. Can't see all this, but these are the facilities that that are behind that $7.1 million. There's community buildings, there's parkland, there's fields, hard courts, indoor courts, et cetera. And this is the existing inventory. Then the next row is the amount we can attribute to growth, new facilities that you'll need. The cost per unit gets you to that total cost of 7.1. And all this is documented in a more detailed Nexus report. So your existing fee is about $10,000 per dwelling unit, and for other residential units, $5,000 per dwelling unit. The new fee, if you take an average square foot house, it's about $6,000. So it actually goes down, $6,736 for the average unit. If you're a bigger unit, you'll pay more. And for the average multifamily unit, you're about $4,647. So the multifamily unit's a little bit, both of them are a little bit lower than your current fee. And my guess is that's why we probably won't have a lot of opposition to this fee, because most times when I'm doing fee studies, fees are going up, not down. But in your case, they would be going down. And in the case here is how you would compare with other cities on the fee component on a per unit basis. And your proposed fee of single family and multifamily there is for a typical size unit is on the low, it is actually not the lowest, but it is on the low side for both single family and multifamily. It looks like Santa Ana is lower. So is East Anaheim. Or actually, no, Stanton is lower. Although Stanton's about ready to update their fee program, so they're probably going to be higher in no time. So that's the whole study, but I'm here, of course, to answer any questions about how we came up with those numbers. And
thank you very
process.
much.
Yeah.
Does anybody have any questions?
I do. I saw the 1,243 number up there, which of course is our magic number from the arena process that we've just recently gone through. So we've rezoned basically our city to accommodate those 1,243. So this package here, the impact fees are relating to if a developer comes in and builds a mixed-use apartment building, for example, at the back end of the Rossmore Center or somewhere else in our city, that's when these fees kick in, correct?
Yes, that's right.
Okay. So, and if you can go backwards in your slides, a few slides, I want to see something. If you could, one more, keep going, right there. The housing, is there a formula that goes between fee per housing unit, 5,863, and then the next box? And it seems random. Is there a formula? I mean, why are our fees going down? Why are, Stanton so inexpensive? I mean, is there a universal applicable formula that's applied here?
Well, every city has a slightly different set of calculations, so I wouldn't be able to compare you to how Stanton does theirs or other cities, because most likely they have more parks and rec facilities that they want to bring forward and they've identified as being needed to accommodate their growth, and they may actually have more growth as well coming forward. So they have more facility needs than you. That's the primary reason why they would have a higher fee or a lower fee than yours. The getting from housing unit to per single family or per multifamily, that's based on basically on people per household assumptions. So you have slightly more people per household in a single family.
Yeah, I can see that. That one makes sense to me. But between per housing unit and then average single family unit.
Yeah. So that's how we get from there to there. There's some calculations that would have been really cumbersome to show on this slide, but there's a bunch of calculations. But the point is that you have your number, $7.1 million worth of new improvements, is probably lower than what Stanton is. Actually, not Stanton, because Stanton is lower than yours, but some of the others that have higher these. And also, I think a really important factor to recognize is in our fee study, we did not include the acquisition of new land.
Did not include?
Acquisition of new land.
Right.
So it's all facilities, in other words, improvements to your existing land, and that's because we talked with the Park and Rec folks, and they just don't really foresee you having to purchase a lot of the land. And land is very expensive, and that adds a lot to cost if you include it.
So these impact fees are not paid by the city. These are paid by the developers who develop these properties, correct?
That's correct, yes.
And the impact fee that we charge them is kind of in lieu for recreational facilities or anticipated parks and whatnot.
It's their fair share contribution to your needed improvements in your park system.
To accommodate
they need to pay their share to, they benefit from those facilities, they should help pay for them.
Oddly enough, that makes sense to me, so thank you.
Okay.
Joe?
No, I'm good.
Okay, I have a couple questions. Does this make any more open space? Does this help us with open space? And I think your answer is does not include acquisition of new land. So these fees, et cetera, do nothing to create more open space, which we
They
would.
do not.
Where do we have open?
Well, I mean, that's the other point. We're pretty much built out, but, okay. So my question is, when reading the staff report, it talks about the Nexus study, documentation to support adoption of program to fund Parks, Rec, capital facilities needed to accommodate growth. So my question is, whose growth? What happens in our case where our city is bound by other cities that are doing a lot of development as well? And so what about new development in other cities that'll be using our facilities? How do the Quimby fees get distributed? How does that work with adjacent cities?
You can't impose a fee on another city, so you aren't able to capture any fees from their growth, and it doesn't account for growth in other cities. If they come to your city and use your facilities, which I'm sure they do, unfortunately there's not much you can do about that. And there's no law that allows you to essentially impose a fee on another city that I know of.
Okay. And then one other question, it talks about capital improvements are due to new growth and cannot be used to address existing deficiencies and ongoing maintenance. So what would be an example of an existing deficiency and or ongoing maintenance?
Well, it's the way the law is written. So I would say in your case, I don't know if you have any existing deficiency. If we didn't evaluate that.
No, we're perfect.
Oh, well, right. So, I mean, I guess we didn't. But typically the way the law is written is if you, for example, had a service standard of X acres per 1,000 people, and you currently only had X minus 100 acres per 1,000 people, you couldn't ask growth to go back and help you fill that gap to meet your existing deficiency. They could meet your standard going forward, but they can't be charged to meet an existing deficiency is kind of what that means. In your case, we didn't identify that you had an existing deficiency. There wasn't some publicly stated service standard that you weren't meeting, which is often the case in some cities, but in your case, we didn't calculate the fee that way, so that we didn't find it. We just put that language in there because it's kind of required by law to say you can't pay for that. Even in this case, we didn't identify any. Your second question, though, was...
ongoing
operation,
maintenance?
yeah, and again, the way the law is written, you can't
O&M.
use fee program to pay for that. Like technically, you're supposed to use property taxes to pay for that, although it never is quite enough. But the idea is that new residents pay property taxes and other taxes, and that pays for the general fund operation and maintenance of parks. But there's oftentimes not a source to pay for capital side stuff, so that's why you charge them impact fees.
Do you want to add on anything? Or?
No, yeah, I think probably the best example of what we're talking about here is Heather Park, how we just did all those improvements. It wouldn't be for day-to-day maintenance, like mowing the lawn or leaf blowing or things like that. It's actually the appendix, the table at the end of the Nexus study lists the sorts of types of improvements, and it's essentially... If we have higher population, there would be a need for more community rooms. So we may build additional, we may expand the space of a certain community center, stuff like that. It would help finance those types of projects.
Okay, and then just a quick question to Director of Finance. So Quimby fees on new development, how does that money work within our budget structure? Is that money's captured into its own fund? Just curious how we capture the Quimby fees.
So these impact fees have not been planned on being reproduced. So we would have to wait until that.
Yeah, I really want to clarify that the Quimby fees are only for subdivisions, which rarely happens in Seal Beach, right. and likely won't happen unless we get some land from the Navy. But what does happen, especially what's been in Surfside, there's continuous demolishing and rebuilding of homes there within Old Town. We have regular homes being rebuilt. Right now, we capture zero for park impact fees. And so whenever someone comes in and buys a house and wants to build it from the ground level new, we would take fees at that point.
Impact fee for that.
Yeah, and those fees are into its own account. In other words, it doesn't go into the general fund.
No,
It would-
it'll go
okay.
into the same thing as a Quimby fund. It
Okay.
would go into that. And then budgeted accordingly afterwards. So part of the reason why this is not in the staff report, the 7.1 million of money being planned, is because we won't know when that time comes until it happens.
Until it comes. Okay, thank you.
Hasn't happened in decades, so.
Nice try.
Any more questions?
This seems to be.
Councilman Wong, any questions?
We're good.
Okay.
Thank you.
I'd like to make a motion in a second.
You have to open.
Patty can move.
Oh,
It's a public hearing.
Second.
I keep looking
So
at the clock.
moved.
It says 7 o'clock. Okay, I will now open the public hearing. Are there any public comments? Okay, I will now close the public hearing. Is there any further discussion or comments, questions? Okay, now it's time for a motion and a second.
We have a motion by Councilmember Senecal, and it's been seconded by Councilmember Wong. Go ahead and cast your vote. Motion carries 5 votes yes.
Thank you. Okay, now on to new business, approval of updated job specification for crossing guard classification. And I'd like to call upon Police Captain Nicholas.
Thank you, Mayor Land. I'll be fielding the questions and giving a report on this. This is a routine alignment of our job description for crossing guard. I think we can all agree that our crossing guards are incredibly important to the city. The impetus for this was surprisingly, crossing guard is a difficult position to recruit and retain for. It takes a person with a fairly unique life circumstance who can go to the school for a few hours in the morning, kind of do nothing the rest of the day, and then go to school for a few hours in the afternoon. And while we've had some incredible and dedicated crossing guards over the year who have been able to do this, maintaining consistent staffing has been a challenge. This new job description we hope will incentivize the position. Simply put, what we hope to be able to do with this is to offer our crossing guards an opportunity to work in that middle period of the day in our records bureau, handling clerical tasks, working in non-sensitive areas of information, and supporting our records bureau staff. And in that way, we may be able to retain some of our crossing guards. Should be noted, we did this during the pandemic. We were able to maintain the employment of our crossing guards by finding alternate employment, and this job description simply memorializes that, allows us that opportunity. It would not be a mandate, so if a crossing guard said they did not want to do that type of work, we would obviously work with them in the traditional crossing guard context. But we have had at least one crossing guard that asked if there were other opportunities for the reasons I've stated. And we feel like this also aligns with council goals to work to find new and innovative methods to retain personnel throughout the city. So with that, I'm available for questions.
Thank you very much. Any questions?
How many crossing guards do we have?
So we have 7 crossing guards, 7 different locations around McGaw School, and we have not been able to maintain full staffing in the 3 years I've been chief. We are augmented, luckily, by our volunteers and police services. So whenever we have an absence, one of our volunteers will step in and conduct those crossing guard duties. They've contributed numerous hours to do that. They quite enjoy the duty, but for purposes of consistency and we'd hope to be able to have full-time employed crossing guards at each of those locations.
Any other questions? I'm assuming they would need to be able to get themselves to the police department. I know we've had a crossing guard that took the bus for 30 years.
Yeah, some crossing guards live in town. Some have their own transportation. They are supervised by our police services manager, and he works with them on that.
Okay. So they need to have their own transportation.
They have their own
too.
transportation, yes.
Okay. All right. With that, would anyone like to make a motion?
It's been moved by Councilmember Wong, second by Councilmember Senecal. Go ahead and cast your votes, please. Motion carries 5 votes yes.
Thank you. Thank you, Chief. Okay, now on to item I, which is approving the adoption of the 2025 Seal Beach Local Hazard Mitigation Plan. And I would like to call upon Emergency Services Coordinator Sergeant Gray.
I'd like to help introduce this, if I may. Sergeant Gray, our Emergency Services Coordinator, will be discussing the update to the city's local hazard mitigation plan, which is one of our key emergency management documents. Immediately following that, Sergeant Gray will be speaking to storm preparations and the rain that'll be coming up this week.
Chief, you just took my whole presentation. Now I have nothing to say. Good evening, Mayor, council members, city manager, city staff, members of the public, my local hazard mitigation plan groupies. You will be known from now on for sticking with it. Thank you. Tonight marks the culmination of a long and important process. With grant funding secured over a year ago, the city moved forward in selecting a qualified consulting team and began work on updating our city's local hazard mitigation plan, which was first implemented in 2019 by my boss, Chief Henderson. Take a round of applause. Since then, staff, regional partners, and our community have collaborated to ensure the plan reflects our hazards, our priorities, and our community, our commitment to preparedness. This evening, I'm pleased to introduce Noelle Anderson with Michael Baker International, the consultant team that guided this effort. They've worked closely with the city to produce the 2025 Local Hazard Mitigation Plan, a document that strengthens our resilience and maintains our eligibility for federal mitigation funding. With that, I'd like to invite Noelle to present the final plan for council consideration.
Perfect. Thank you, everyone. Nice to see everyone again, too. It's been a little while. Why don't I start this presentation off by just saying that it was an absolute pleasure to prepare and update this plan with not only Brian, but representatives from all of our city departments. And I do believe that throughout this planning process, I got to individually speak with each of you as well. And just for awareness, that doesn't quite often happen on our hazard mitigation plans. So what we have prepared here is really reflective of your input from staff, input from yourselves, and input from your stakeholders and community members. So wanted to offer congratulations on that too. But to start my presentation, to define hazard mitigation and what our plan is aiming to accomplish. Hazard mitigation is the sustained action taken to reduce or eliminate long-term risk to people and property from natural hazards. So as defined by FEMA, this plan aims to deliver that on behalf of Seal Beach. And as Brian mentioned, this is an update. So our original plan was 2019. What happened in the 5-year period where this plan was active is there actually was FEMA federal guidance update, and that happened in 2023. So timing of this plan update worked out wonderfully. Your plan is now, it now responds to the latest guidance and best practices. So that is an added bonus of the timing here. Your current plan as presented today will be active for 5 years, so that's our 2025 to 2030. And so our plan, FEMA gives us a prescriptive process to follow in terms of how you update the hazard mitigation plan, who you talk to update it, and how that information gets documented. And so your end product here, the final hazard mitigation plan, gets approved by Cal OES and FEMA. And the main benefit of maintaining this active plan is your eligibility for grant funding. And so our FEMA hazard mitigation grant programs, those have maximum grant awards up to $50 million. And I have a little bit more information on public financing as they relate to your specific mitigation actions later in the presentation. But getting back to my point about the prescriptive steps. They're outlined here on this slide at a high level. We have our hazard profile component where we identify those hazards that could potentially impact Seal Beach. And then we conduct the vulnerability assessment to understand how those hazards would affect Seal Beach. So it's using our publicly accessible hazard maps and assessing data on potential dollar losses and repetitive loss, things like that. And so using the data, that helps inform our mitigation strategies, the who, what, where, when, and how we are going to reduce risk and vulnerability, getting back to that definition I presented on the first slide. This is the list of hazards that are included in your plan. In terms of differences between your 2019 and your 2025 plan, the main difference is that we incorporated a couple of new hazards, power outage being one of them, as a now fairly recognizable secondary impact of severe weather impacts. When it gets very hot or very windy, we're experiencing those public power safety shutoffs. So that is encapsulated in your plan. The other item that we included was the human-caused hazards. So if you noticed on the first slide, where our plan is focused on natural hazards, we did, as a value add, we did include consideration for human-caused hazards, namely because there are actions the city can take that benefit during both a natural disaster and a human-caused hazard. So where that intersection could be identified, it's included in the plan at no extra no extra charge or anything like that. So increases flexibility is really the key, and that adds benefit for later down the line in terms of emergency management planning. The vulnerability assessment component, this is the data-driven item of the hazard mitigation plan where we're identifying critical facilities, residential and non-residential development that's in mapped hazard zones and is therefore more vulnerable to specific types of hazards. Where census data supplements as well, we were also able to generate number of residents and the number of people who are potentially vulnerable to these hazards as well. So giving additional context, which helps inform our mitigation strategy on these slides here. So our mitigation strategy, very comprehensive. In total of those hazards I previously identified, there's 19 in combination of all of the hazards. We first went back to your 2019 plan and documented which mitigation actions were completed. And Brian does an awesome job of tracking that, so it made our job very easy to see what's been done. We did review the previous mitigation actions, and where progress had been made, some of those actions were revised, as well as new actions were generated where conditions warranted. So in total, you have 54 mitigation actions that address each hazard as outlined in the plan. And these actions vary by type. So sometimes mitigation actions, people think they have to be structural or they're some sort of physical infrastructure improvement. Plans and regulations, nature-based solutions, and then education and outreach, that is included in your plan as well as a valid mitigation option. And those types of programs can be grant funded. Little hard to see at this scale. I do apologize for that. But if you take my word for it on our action matrix here, the mitigation actions are all outlined for what the who, what, where, when, and why. It includes identification of the hazard that is assessed, as well as assigning a responsible department, even identifying potential external stakeholders to participate in executing that mitigation action, along with funding sources, timeline, and priority. And so one of the key components, the new components of this plan is responding to new federal guidance, is consideration for socially vulnerable populations. And FEMA defines these as those with access and functional needs. So just individuals who would require additional assistance before, during, and after an emergency. These populations have unique mitigation needs, and probably no surprise to everyone here, the kind of unique socioeconomic makeup of Seal Beach did flag a couple of vulnerable populations as outlined by the federal data. You know, our seniors, Leisure World was showing up as potentially vulnerable, but also like persons with disabilities, children, people with high pollution burden, but also tourists and visitors who may not be familiar with the city, no evacuation routes, things like that. So those are also people who might need additional support. So the mitigation actions specifically respond to that federal requirement as well. And then the last component too is I know that there's been a lot in the world of federal funding as terms of changes in the past year with this new administration. The good news is that the key FEMA program, the Hazard Mitigation Grant Program, still active, and this plan establishes eligibility for that. We're still seeing allocations locally. The LA wildfire released $800 million in competitive grant funding specifically for mitigation actions, and you have to have a plan like this to be eligible. But what the plan also does is we were tracking California Proposition 4, which this coming year is going to release $3.3 billion, $10 billion in total once all of the funds are allocated. This funding is being distributed to many existing grant programs that we flagged in your mitigation action table as well. So funding that's coming through state programs that won't be adjusted by federal changes, things like CAL FIRE, Cal OES, State Department of Water Resources. So where applicable, that's identified as well. And you can see the different programs that they're going to be funding: drinking water, wildfire protection, other climate, sea level rise analysis too. So that is included where appropriate. And then last, I will flag, we had an awesome community outreach process that got us to this plan that you have today. Over the course of 7 stakeholder meetings, we had participation from 33 stakeholders, so representing not only your internal staff members, but regional partners, your neighboring cities participated, county emergency management participated too. We also had 4 community outreach meetings where the public was invited. So Brian had the opportunity to present at the Chamber of Commerce. And we also had a workshop at Leisure World that was really well attended. Probably about 75 people came to that. And then in an effort to reach those who might not necessarily come to a workshop or come to a public hearing, we had a pop-up booth at the car show, which was really fun. We talked to hundreds of people at this event, got to talk to them about their hazards, what they're concerned about, and help them prioritize hazards for our feedback too. And then at all of our events, we had printed surveys and this QR code where we had people had the opportunity to take a public survey online. This is one of the highest number of participations that we've gotten in all of my years of doing hazard mitigation planning. So kudos to that. Brian was very, very excited about being our most well-taken survey. So that is wonderful too. And then last, what we are here for today, the City Council, we're proposing this hazard mitigation plan for adoption. Your plan still has draft on the title because technically until it's approved here, it is not final. What we do is the resolution from this adoption, it is sent to FEMA for their awareness that the plan was locally approved, and then they issue the final approval letter, and your eligibility is established for the FEMA grant funding. I will caveat that with the recent government shutdown, there might be some administrative delays in issuing that final approval letter, but not to worry. They are backdating it to the date of the approval. So should that be tonight, your eligibility will be established tonight. So with that, I am available for any questions if there are any follow-ups about the plan or the plan process.
Thank you. I want to thank you too for interacting with the public during the very wet car show. That was fun.
It was, we had fun.
Thank you. Anybody have questions?
Just one question with some of the uncertainty and turmoil with regard to FEMA's viability and so forth. Are there questions regarding the funding that we seem to be hanging our hat on?
That's a good question. And so that was specifically the reason why we included consideration for the state funding as well. As of right now, like I mentioned, we are still seeing FEMA grant funding be distributed through the hazard mitigation grant programs. One program was eliminated earlier this year. It was called BRIC, Building Resilient Infrastructure in Communities. That being said, that funding went away. It was $2.5 billion for the entire country versus the $10 billion that the state is giving us, that now you wouldn't have to compete on that on a national scale. It's available statewide. So there is still money, but we took a balanced approach in the plan, kind of noting that concern.
And actually, what about the administrative end? In other words, there's the compliance and so forth, and FEMA, along with the state, would be reviewing all of this. Are there people in place that would be reviewing?
Oh, yes. This plan's already reviewed and approved by Cal OES and FEMA. Yeah. A little slower than normal, but that's mostly due to the government shutdown, not due to staffing there.
Just a quick question. I noticed that stormwater is mentioned as one of the hazards. And then looking in the staff report, it talks about emphasizing the importance of pre-disaster mitigation. And so my question is, would we be available funding-wise for some of our stormwater projects within this?
No, it's a good question. So this plan establishes eligibility, but I would defer to staff on like specific projects or any specific infrastructure you're concerned about.
Councilmember Senecal, we are definitely tracking Prop 4 money and specifically related to stormwater mitigation CIPs. We are speaking with the various awarding agencies right now to see if it actually does align properly. We don't have a definitive answer quite yet, probably because of various staffing issues or availability issues, but we're hoping to get some kind of definitive answers within the upcoming weeks, hopefully.
Okay, well, let us know if you need help.
Certainly, thank you.
She can call them up and bug them.
I want to piggyback off on that as far as our fire hydrant infrastructure. So it would be the same thing. Would we have funding for anywhere where we're deficient in our fire hydrants?
I don't know if it's specific to fire hydrants. However, we are tracking Prop 4 funding related to water resiliency for our infrastructure as well.
Okay, thank you. Mayor Pro Tem?
Yeah. It's a comment, actually. Thank you very much for a great job. It's a long project. And my neighbors in District 5 in Leisure World care a lot about this particular project. They've been very interested in it. And we have several audiences over there that are keenly interested in this. And you know who they are. And I'm going to ask you, and maybe you as well, to report back to them, give them presentations at the appropriate time and places, because they will be keenly interested in seeing what this looks like, and because they want to pick it up, carry it, and put it in their portfolio. They have their own hazard mitigation book themselves, and this will be a core part of the whole thing for them. So
I know exactly who you're talking about.
Yes,
without naming
thank
names.
you.
And just to piggyback on what was just said, my biggest goal for this year, professional goal, was to get this agreed upon by you guys, hopefully by a unanimous vote, no pressure. But now it's going after the money to make it all worth it. We were kind of talking about that, so working with Director Lee and the other department heads on going after this money when they release the NOIs, Notice of Information, and seeing if it's something we can take advantage of. They're just not forking over the cash. There's issues that we talked about last year, like matching and that kind of thing. You know, they cover 75% of something. That's great, but what if it's a $50 million project? So there's other issues, but we're going to work through them and do everything we can. So thank you.
Do you have questions?
Oh, yeah. I have more comment versus question. Noel, thank you so much for all of your help through this entire process. I know you and I believe it was Jake,
yes,
right? And your team from Michael Baker International.
He sends his regards as well. He wish he could be here.
Thank you very much to your team and Michael Baker International for helping us through this. A special shout out to Sergeant Brian Gray. Thank you very much. And I actually, if you drive through College Park West, you'll notice there are now hazard evacuation signs throughout the neighborhood, signaling on where to go if there is evacuation and if there was a road closure, which I actually love. I get a lot of questions about them, but as I said, it's all part of the local hazard mitigation plan. It's also us being proactive. And so tip of the cap to you very much.
And always feel free to forward them to me if you're done talking to them. Send them my way.
Noel and Sergeant Gray, thank you so much for all your hard work. Great presentation.
Absolutely.
So now I would
I'll
like,
stay close for the weather report after.
Oh, that's right. We have a weather report coming up.
now I will call for a motion in a second.
So moved.
To
It has
approve this.
been moved by Councilmember Still, second by Councilmember, I'm sorry, Mayor Pro Tem Still, second by Councilmember Senecal. Go ahead and cast your votes, please. Motion carries 5 votes yes.
Thank you very much.
That was
Sergeant
easy,
Gray.
huh?
Thank you. Thank you. I wish I brought a cake, but good evening again. I actually wrote that again because I knew I was going to come back. Mayor, City Council, City Manager, City Staff, groupies. As you probably know, we're expecting rain later this week. As we move further into the winter storm season, city departments are already working together, including Marine Safety, Public Works, OCFA, PD, and City Hall. We're preparing and we're monitoring the conditions throughout the week. We want to remind residents to take simple preparedness steps ahead of the rain. If you saw the press release we put out last week, it includes things like having sandbags ready at home, utilizing the sandbag stations at the 8th Street Beach Lot, Arbor Park, and fire stations 48 and 44. Thanks, Chief Covey. We're also asking the community to help by placing trash cans about a foot away from the curb before pickup days so the gutters can flow clearly. Parking cars in the driveways whenever possible to prevent the water getting above the engine and frying the cars. And all these are important everywhere, but especially in areas that we all know are prone to flooding, like Old Town and College Park East. We also remind residents to avoid driving through the flooded streets to prevent wakes from pushing water into the homes and garages, as well as not letting children swim or play in that rainwater because it's disgusting. It's not tap water, so please. Finally, we encourage everyone to stay informed by signing up for Alert OC and Nixle and following the Seal Beach Police Department on social media for storm-related updates. The city will continue proactive monitoring and response throughout the storm, and we appreciate the public's cooperation in helping keep our community safe. So as you guys know, we're having rain. It's going to start Wednesday, go through Saturday. The heaviest is at current time, a couple hours ago, heaviest Thursday afternoon, Thursday evening into Friday. They're expecting the Orange County coast to get a total of 0.7 of an inch to an inch. So just under an inch total. That's a little bit reassuring because when we get that in an hour, that's when we all kind of get nervous. That being said, we're taking preparations because National Weather Service, every day at noon when there's a storm coming, they put out their forecast. Today they called it low confidence. I've never seen them put it so bluntly, low confidence. So it could change. So we're literally monitoring it daily, and that can, up staff, down, we're all in communication. But the sandbag stations are stocked, and we're pushing it out on social media what people can do to get prepared either way. And then depending on if we get rate as we get closer, staging the pumps, closures, that kind of thing, we can kind of ramp up, ramp down. So we're just waiting. Any questions?
Yeah. Something that I've been thinking about with regard to sandbags. If there's some way, and this is for both OCFA and RPD, to some kind of tutorial for residents as to how you should fill sandbags, because I think a lot of sand and bags are wasted because they're filled too much. They become dangerously heavy and they're not stackable in a way that's going to mitigate water getting under a gate or into a garage. And, it might even be something that, you do a tutorial and just put it on the website, or a flyer that we could keep, in a box somewhere near the,
Sure.
The sand piles and the bags.
I like it. Let me see what I can come up with. There may be, that sounds like such a easy thing that it must have been done already. Maybe I could steal something off the internet and just repost it on our social media.
Great.
Thank you for that.
Brian, can you let the public know how they can sign up for OC Alert and Nixle?
Yes, so the two emergency communication systems we use, I'm going to go in reverse order. My favorite first, Nixle. This is emergencies, but also if there's like the turkey trots coming up, we'll be pushing out road closures. So community-based stuff on Nixle. That's the easiest. Just send a text message to the number 888-777, 888-777. In the body of that message, that text message, just put the Seal Beach zip code, 90740. That's it. Alert OC, all the residents should be already imported in there from the cell phone carriers. But just to be sure, you can go to alertoc.org. At the very bottom, there's a make a free account. You sign up and make sure they have your home number, cell phone number, email, that kind of stuff. So Alert OC, Nixle.
Thank you. Any other questions?
The weather that changes, and again, the biggest concern is if it, like we had the cell drop on
Yes.
College Park East, and then we had too much rain too fast. And is there something we could also put on our website? So if people aren't on these other two, or they don't have their phone on them, or they could just remember, go on the website and you can see the weather. Like when you're getting your weather updates at noon, could you put something on our website for weather
On the city
update?
website?
Yeah.
Well, our press release, the kind of lengthy one with all the tips and stuff
That's
is
a
on
paid
there
service. It's a paid service. You have to pay for that one.
To what?
The weather.org or whatever, the one.
Oh, to import
Yeah.
it in?
No, you have to sign up. It's not a.
Oh, so weather, can I tell you, I take this for granted. Weather.org is National Weather Services. And no, that's free.
Yeah. No, I've tried it and wanted a subscription.
NOAA.
But
But
my
there's a
point is,
shortcut.
everybody communicates differently.
Sure.
And maybe it's easier for somebody just to go to our website and see an update on the weather. Maybe they're not on these other two. Maybe we're on all of them. But I'm just
Like put in maybe a widget that shows the.
just something on the Seal Beach homepage about the weather.
Okay.
Get
A banner
prepared.
that crawls across the bottom. Just kidding.
I'll see, I'll work with
I
city
think
manager,
if
maybe.
there's something we could put on there, and then your tips as well, especially stay out of the water. It's brackish, it's filthy, yeah. But,
gross.
like the thing on the trash cans, keep them a foot off the curb. And this would be helpful too. But I would just recommend we use our homepage
Okay.
as part of our getting ready.
I'll work on the city website, but on the PD, if you go to sealbeachpd.com, there's a big button for emergency preparedness. That brings you to kind of all my stuff. That's there. But I'll talk with the city manager about the city website. I like it.
Questions? Thank you very much, Sergeant Gray.
Thank you, guys.
Do we need a
Appreciate
motion for the rain? Go away. Denied.
Exactly.
Okay, I think that's it. Okay, I will now adjourn tonight's city council meeting to Monday, December 8th, 2025 at 5:30 to meet in closed session if deemed necessary. I also want to note November 24th, 2025 city council meeting has been canceled due to the Thanksgiving holiday. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. Have a great night and thank you.